So we have done with an AOL part, application object library part, like designing a user, defining a responsibility, defining our custom request group, menu group. I'm just repeating what we have done. And I also explained you the SRS will submit new request window, what we will be doing it. So we have few things there, like how we have to register a form and all. We'll come later for that. And right now I just want to start with something called as RISE components, which is a technical consultant work basically. So every technical consultant will be working with reports, as I already mentioned, interfaces, okay, conversions and extensions. We'll start with reports today, which is in reports we have two kinds of reports again. When you talk, it is Oracle reports, okay, and there's something called as XML publisher reports. Newly introduced, okay. They will see these two reports. So initially, when we finish off Oracle reports, then we get to XML publisher reports also. So let's start with Oracle reports. Basically, when you install Oracle application itself, you will be getting reports, forms, both softwares you will be getting installed as a pack. Whenever they want, they will install it. I mean, separately they'll install it, but then it's a pack. You don't need to install anything, or you don't need to worry what is the tool or what is the software you have to get installed. So reports will be installed, which is nothing but called as again Oracle reports 10G, what we are using now. Okay. So we will see how to design a report in Oracle reports 10G later. This report has to be integrated with Oracle application. Okay, what is integrating with Oracle application? Now we have seen like view, request, okay, submit new request. This we have seen, and we have selected a report in that. A request, and we have selected a report there, and we have submitted it, right? So the same process when we follow, then we want to see like whether this can be done or not. I mean, if you see follow the same process and submitted, whenever you say submit your request, in that list you have to see your report what you have designed. Okay, to design and to work with reports, what you need to do is you need to start your report builder, as I said. So basically, when you start a report, it will ask you whether you want to do it with a wizard, whether you want to do manually, or whether you want to do an existing report when you want to open it. So either manually or wizard you can use for designing a new report. Apart from that, opening an existing report is something like when you already have a report, you can start it. Get started. Get started will help you in learning things. Okay, it's a help. Basically, I'm saying use a report wizard. So this is a wizard which will give you sequential steps. So tell this wizard as processing a variety of report. Say next, create both web and paper layout, create web layout, okay, and create paper layout. So basically web and paper layout in a sense, which you can see the preview in your report builder or in your application, Oracle application. Oracle reports of 10G has two features, which can be launched on web as well as which can be designed on the application, or where you can see the preview of the system. Normal software application, what is an Oracle application. So either if you want to launch in both, then you can select both web paper layout. If you want only the browser to launch, web layout. Paper layout is something like which is executed the Oracle application or report builder, you can just say. Okay. So when you talk about reports, again here you have different layouts, different formats. Tabular is the blue color indicates columns, and then the rest gray color indicates the data. Tabular in the sense you will have all the titles here and the data will be displayed columnar manner. Group left, all the titles and the data, and the red color indicates grouping column. Okay, it means group by department number or group by salary or group by employee, like this. Okay, group above is something like the same data is displayed in group above, like this. Okay, matrix. All titles and the columns are here like this, and these are the columns. Matrix with group, the same data. Now matrix is something like when you see a result, you will be seeing it. All these are subjects and all these are names, and you have all the values. So you should have the data in such a way to design a matrix report. So matrix with group. Form is something like you'll have a label and you'll have a text. Okay, similar to title box. Form letter. Form letter is something like the covering letters or the reminder letters they will be giving it. Okay, all the titles, and this is the text. Mailing labels. It's simply a label. You want to stick on to the packing. Whenever you do packing and when you want to ship the goods, you just take the labels and you stick on. So let's go with tabular, which is quite easy. Here when you say choose a data source type below, it will ask you, when you want to design a report, you need a SQL to write it. So basically Oracle reports suggest SQL query because it is tied up with SQL Oracle. Apart from SQL, we can use other languages also, other queries also, which is Express Server Query. This is a separate one. JDBC, basically used as Java people will be using JDBC query. ORA query, data warehousing people will be using. Text query, if you have something in the text box, you can use this. XML query, SOA people will be using this. So any technology can use, and for that they have given SQL query as for us. So we'll select SQL query. By default, it will be SQL query. Here, data source definition. Here you can write your query. Let's write a known table, which is select star from, as you already saw, FND user. Okay, and say where row num less than equal to 10. Something like this, and just click on connect. So once you click on, if you don't click on connect, also the moment you say after editing the query next, it will ask you connect. So just give the database password, username, which is apps@vas, and click on connect. As it is the first time, once you get into the report builder, it will take some time. Just wait for that. Select star from FND user has a lot of records, so that's the reason I said where row num less than equal to 10. Only for sample purpose, I just want to see 10 records. Let's wait until it gets connected. So it got connected. Now you can select the columns which you wanted. And say next. Here you have all the totals and all. I mean, if you want to do a summary column group by, I mean, whatever the columns you want to do, total like salary columns or something, some average, maximum, and if you want to perform it, count how many employees are there, or it's a unique one, right? User ID is the unique one. Count of user ID means it will tell you how many records we are getting. Of course, you have already given like it is 10 records where one less than equal to 10. But then, if you want to perform any calculations here, you can use those things. So next, you will have all the labels and column names. If you want to modify any label, then you can do this user number and say next. No template. Here we have predefined templates which are nothing but the colors and all, everything will be changed. And if you have already a template which is with the background of a company, name, logo and all, you can select it. But basically Oracle supports no template because predefined templates are given for other people. Oracle already has some reports designed in Oracle application which has white background. So it says that when you are designing some report, you also have to follow the same standards wherein you need to select no template, which appears to be the same kind of background and all how Oracle standard reports look like. So that's the reason it supports no template. Predefined templates are not supported, as well as the R templates are not supported. So just click on next and then finish. It's already designed everything. And then something new error what we are getting. Oh God, this kind of error. Let me check. It's only the database connection which has lost. Sometimes what happens is you will be losing the connection by the time the report gets generated. In meanwhile, the session gets expired. So you can just say file connect and you can give the password, that's all. So this is how the data is generated. So username, user number, username, last update date, creation date, start date, description. So the user number is here, and then the username, and all this. Here you have different options, which is called as, let's come one by one. This is called as data model. Data model is a place where actually your query will be designed when you do manually. It will show you, once you create a query, it will show you Q_1. If you create another query, it will show you Q_2 like this. And it will show you all the column names, what has been selected. And when you double click on this Q1, you can see the query. So let's start from if you user by row number less than 10. If you want to modify anything, you can always modify that and say OK. And the first column will be treated as G_user ID, which is called as group column. Always the first column is treated as group column. I'll tell you what is the necessity or what is the use of the group column. And this is something called a summary column, wherein we did a count of employees, that is count of user ID per report. This also I'll tell you when you design manually how actually this column will be created. But for now, if you want to see any of the properties or any of the background, what is happening for this, as I said, count of, these are the column names. Normally you got it from the query, but then which is being displayed as a report. This is something, a calculation which is done for a count of an employees, right? So select the field and press F4 key in your keyboard. So you will see here, it's a summary column, it's a number 8, data type of number 8, count on user ID report base, reset report base. The summary section tells you, this is called as basically a property palette. Property palette is something like which tells you what exactly is happening in the background of that particular field. For this field, this is the property palette. Count of user ID per report. Count of user ID per report. It's a summary column basically called as, what is a summary column? If you want to do any calculations report wise, if you want to do count, max, minimum, sum, all this, then you will be using something called a summary column. And while doing manual, I'll show you how actually to use it. For now, just see, it's a summary column which can be used to do the calculation. And you will have some available functions which you have seen in the screen while doing through a wizard. That is count, minimum, maximum, and all you'll have in this place if you click. Okay. So we have selected count. So count basically on a user ID. Why user ID? Because user ID is unique. If you want to know the employees, how many employees you have in your organization, you can take some unique field and you can start counting on that. You can do some maximum, minimum, all these functions are available here. So let's come one by one. This is like data model section. As I said, here you have all the tools palette. This is called tool palette. We'll come to this section also later. As I said, there is something called web source as well as paper layout, right? When you click on web source, it will show you for this page, whatever the design is there, background code will be generated automatically. Next is design part called as, here when you see here, it is called as paper layout. So paper layout is something like which shows you what are the column names, how it has been designed. The important part in Oracle reports and the complicated one is basically when you see the design, everything will be with frames. Okay, it is all completely with the frames, borders, everything, and that's a complicated one actually in Oracle reports. Next is paper design, which is nothing but the preview. What we are seeing is called as paper design. Before that, the design part, whatever you're seeing, it is called as paper layout. Let's wait for generating a report. It will take time. I think today we have some network fluctuations. That's the reason it is getting disconnected every time, but normally it doesn't get disconnected in Oracle Report Builder. Whenever you connect for the first time, it will stay like that. TNS is not available. And you have something called as paper format form. Whenever you have something parameters, this will come. Okay, we'll see that. So if you want to modify a query, I said go to data model, right? Go to data model. Instead of just saying where row num less than equal to 10, row num less than equal to 10 is basically hard-coded value. I mean static value what we have given, like only 10 rows have to be shown. Instead of that, if we can give a choice to the user, like he will be entering the number, and as per the number we can give the request. How do we do that? We can give him a choice to enter the value, which is called as parameter. It has to prompt a value for us. So whenever you want to create a parameter, what you need to do is you need to just put colon. Colon will actually prompt p underscore, whichever name you want to give, you can give. I'm just giving row num as it is, row num. So p underscore is not must, but you can give a, b, c, whatever you want. But then the standards are followed. Whenever a parameter is created, it starts with p underscore, something like that. So you can say p underscore where row num less than equal to p underscore row num, and before row num, as I said, you have to start with colon. When you keep colon, what happens is it will know that that's a parameter, and it has to prompt for the user whenever he tries to execute the report. So let's see that. The Q1 has created a bind parameter p row num, it will say OK. So p underscore row num, this report parameters, enter value for the parameters is coming from this parameter form window. So once you create a parameter, that will work as a parameter form, it will get designed like this. I'm just entering 5. I got only 5 records. Okay. In the same way, I can say 8. So like this, you can give a choice to the user by designing a parameter. So as a number of parameters you want, you can give, and employee number greater than equal to p underscore, sorry, it is user, right? User underscore ID greater than equal to colon p underscore user underscore ID. It will again tell you that bind, it has created one more bind parameter. Okay, the Q1 has created the bind parameter p underscore user ID. See, okay. Now it will prompt for you to, I want 10 rows which greater number 40. Okay. It will basically be 3 numbers. I just give some number. Let's say now we'll see 120, 121, 122, like this we have the numbers, right? Let's see now. I want 5 rows which are greater than 123. Means 122, 121, and 120 should not happen. Let's see that. Right, it has started. And this is count of records. How many records you got? 5. Okay. Like this you can modify it. This is called as data module, I said. Apart from this, when you go here, tools, object navigator, you can see all that sections what you have here. Let me go through and explain this first. Okay. Whenever you start a report, you'll have like this module, data model, web source, paper layout. Whatever I showed you the icons, all that you have here. The first thing is whenever you start a report, it will be like module 1. Once you start saving this file, it will automatically change. You can just say save as sample underscore report. And you have to select the RDF and save it. So the name will change and the file name will also change. Next is data model. In the data model, you have system parameters and user parameters. You don't need to worry about the system parameters. System will have its own default parameters, so we don't need to worry about that. But the user parameters are one which we created. So click on this plus symbol, you will see 2 parameters. With p underscore row num and p underscore user ID. For every field, as I said, properties you will have something called as property palette, which will tell you what is the name of that parameter or what is the name of that field, what type of data it is, what is the size of that particular parameter and all. Just click on F4, you'll see p row num character 40. It's a data type of character 40 wherein it can accept values of numbers or. And query Q1 is something like which will tell you that the Q1 query has been entered. Either you can go to data model and modify it, or you can just press F4 here and you will have your SQL query. Click here, you'll get the same one. Okay. So object navigator is something, a place where you can say it appears like in Windows Explorer. You have all the options there. And then groups. What are groups? As I told you that the query Q underscore 1 has first column treated as a group. I'll tell you again in detail what is the group we use for. Basically, group is something like a loop which works for us to retrieve the data, iterate the data, the number of records. And then it will show you all the columns which are available under that group. Next, we have something called as formula column, summary column, and placeholder column. Basically, formula column is simply, you can say it's a function. It's a calculated field. You want to do any calculations here, like quantity into price, or write some conditions. If student marks is greater than 10, do this, 20, do this, like something you want to write then. Summary column, as I showed you, count, minimum, maximum, average. Okay, you can use any of the functions and you can see. Next is placeholder column. Placeholder column is also a calculated column, but then in that column we don't use it. It is basically a variable. When you say a equal to 10, but a is nothing but a placeholder column. But then this is normally, it's not a normal column, it is a global variable called as. Okay, so you can use this column as a variable and you can store some value. Next is data link. If you have Q1 and Q2, you want to link both queries, then you can use it. Why do I have to link it? Okay, you have employee details, you have department details. You want to see all these employees are belonging to which department. You will be joining. If you have more than 2 tables, you will be joining those tables with a common column. In the same way, if you have 2 queries, when you have a common column, you can join it and you can get the data from multiple queries. And if you want to join 2 queries with a common column, then what you can do is you can use a data link. We will see this also later once we are compatible with our web source. So all the sections is called as data model. Next is paper layout. Paper layout only has 3 sections: header, main, trailer. Okay, header section has body margin, main section has body margin. In this, it will show you all this column names. These are the column names and labels. F underscore is a column name, B underscore is a label, what it is showing in our design point. If you want to see both parallelly, you can just double click, minimize this, click on this, it will show you something selected. This is a field, start date, user ID, or you can select here and it will show you. Okay, you can see parallelly. This is the labels. As I told you, B underscores are labels. And this is summary column. So it will just show you the sections. That's all. Paper parameter form. Right now, when I just run this report, it is prompting it. Its job is to, whenever the parameters are there, it has to prompt it. Next is the report request. If you want to write any piece of code here, logic or something, you write in this triggers, you will see that. Once you write in the trigger, it will create a program unit. What is a program unit? Either you can create a PL/SQL function, procedure, PL/SQL package. How do you create? Select this and check the green one. It will ask you. You want to create a procedure, function, package specification, package body, you can give the name here. The rest is all database built-ins. So this is how sample report is designed. We'll see manual report. But before I end up a session, I just wanted to inform you that I'm going on leave. I mean, for 2 days. I mean, this weekend. Today I'm traveling to my hometown, so I'll be back on my Monday morning. If you want to have a late session Monday morning, maybe at my 9 o'clock, that's okay for me. Saturday, Sunday, I'll want to be available. Or else you want, if it becomes late for you Monday, Tuesday morning we can rejoin the session. My Tuesday morning at 6 o'clock.
Okay, Venkat.
Hello?
Yeah.
So my Tuesday morning 6 o'clock we will have a class, or you want to have Monday at my 9 o'clock?
Monday 9 o'clock.
That is my 9 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Done.
Is it morning or evening 9 o'clock?
Morning, my Monday morning 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, Venkat.
It is too late for you?
No, that's okay for me.
Okay. My Monday morning I will actually come back to Hyderabad.
Okay.
So by the time I come home, it will be 9 and then I'll take the class.
Okay.
Or else, of having a confusion, it's better we have on the Tuesday morning 6 o'clock.
Okay. I mean, anything would be fine for me. Like, if you are okay with Monday, it's okay. If not, we can take it on.
Let's plan on Tuesday morning 6 o'clock. In case I'm late or something Monday, then it will be a problem. So let's plan on Tuesday.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So next class we will have on Tuesday.
Okay, sure.
It's my Tuesday morning 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Thank you, Nivali, and I'm just ending up the session. Anyway, we'll have a power cut now. 5 minutes.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you.